Hey guys, tonight we climb a mountain ridge where the wind hums softly over ancient stone, and beneath your boots stretches a wall so long it disappears into blue mist like a dragon taking a nap across the spine of the earth. You stand there, breath steady, looking left and right as the stones ripple over peaks and valleys, and you try to imagine building this without cranes, without engines, without even proper paved roads. Honestly, you probably won't survive this. Not the altitude, don't worry, but the sheer mental workout of picturing millions of hands stacking earth and stone across thousands of kilometers might finish you off before bedtime. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And while you're settling in, comment your location and local time below. I love seeing where in the world you're listening from as we wander through history together. Now dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You begin walking along the ridgeline. The steps are uneven, some shallow, some absurdly tall, forcing you to lift your knees higher than you'd expect from something that looks so majestic from afar. The stones beneath your feet are cool. The mountains roll endlessly in soft blue waves. And here's your first grounding fact. What you're walking on is part of a defensive network that, when measured with natural barriers included, stretches over 21,000 kilometers across northern China. That number almost feels unfair. Scholars still argue whether every trench and natural ridge should count toward that total. But no matter how you measure it, the Great Wall is one of the largest construction projects in human history. And yet, it didn't begin as one grand, unified vision. You pause at a watchtower and lean against the brick. The version you see now, sturdy grey bricks fitted tightly together, mostly dates to the Ming dynasty between the 14th and 17th centuries. But long before that, fragmented kingdoms built their own walls during the Warring States period, centuries before China was unified. Imagine a patchwork quilt of stone and earth, each state building its own barrier against rivals. The idea of a single Great Wall wouldn't exist yet. It was more like multiple anxious neighbors, each building higher fences. You step forward again, tracing the line of crenellations, those tooth-like battlements along the top. They're not decorative. They're carefully designed to allow defenders to shoot arrows while staying protected. You can almost see archers in indigo and russet robes standing here, scanning the horizon for movement. But here's where the genius starts to reveal itself. The wall doesn't cut straight through valleys. It follows the mountains. It rides the ridge lines like a serpent. That wasn't accidental. Building along high ground means attackers must climb steep slopes under defensive fire. It also reduces the amount of wall needed in some places, because cliffs and ravines act as natural barriers. You realize the builders weren't trying to overpower nature. They were partnering with it, and without modern machinery, that partnership was essential. Now here's an odd detail you might not expect. In many early sections, especially those built during the Qin and Han dynasties, the walls were made of rammed earth, layers of soil, gravel, and reeds compressed between wooden frames until they hardened almost like concrete. In dry climates, that packed earth became incredibly durable. Some of those sections still stand today, quietly defying 2,000 years of wind. Just dirt, pounded into fortification. You imagine teams of laborers lifting heavy wooden mallets, rhythmically pounding layer after layer, the sound echoing across barren hills. No power tools. No steel reinforcement. Just coordination, muscle, and relentless repetition. Historical context. When Qin Shi Huang unified China in 221 BCE, he ordered the linking and expansion of existing walls to defend against northern nomadic groups. It wasn't a single continuous wall yet, but it marked the beginning of a massive coordinated effort. You can't help but notice something subtle here. The wall isn't just a barrier. It's a statement. If you're a nomadic rider approaching from the steppe, you don't just see stone. You see organization. Resources, authority, the psychological weight of an empire capable of reshaping mountains. Scholars still argue whether the wall's symbolic power was as important as its physical defense. Did it truly stop invasions? Not always. But it slowed them. It channeled them toward guarded passes. It provided early warning through beacon towers that could send smoke signals by day and fire signals by night. One column of smoke could signal a small enemy force. Multiple columns could indicate thousands. You imagine watching distant hills suddenly bloom with smoke plumes, one after another, racing across the horizon faster than any horse could carry a message. It's not just a wall. It's a communication network stretched across an empire. You step inside a watchtower. The interior is cool and shadowed. Narrow windows frame vast empty land. Soldiers once stood here through scorching summers and brutal winters. Isolation would have been intense. Supplies had to be hauled up steep slopes by hand or animal. Another quirky detail: the wall wasn't only built from stone and earth. In desert regions, builders used layers of tamarisk branches and gravel compacted together. Local materials mattered. Transporting heavy stone across impossible terrain would have been inefficient, so builders adapted to what was available. Adaptation becomes the quiet theme of the night. You run your hand along the brickwork again. The mortar between bricks in Ming sections sometimes included sticky rice mixed with lime, creating a surprisingly strong binding agent. Yes, rice. The same humble grain that fills bowls also helped hold together one of the world's most formidable fortifications. Ancient engineering doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it's kitchen chemistry. You walk farther along the ridge. The wind grows stronger. The wall dips into a valley, then rises again sharply as if testing your endurance. And suddenly it hits you. This isn't impossible because it's flawless. It's impossible because it was persistent. Generation after generation, repaired, rebuilt, reinforced. Dynasties rose and fell, but sections of the wall endured, crumbled, and were rebuilt again. The dragon never truly slept. You stand at a bend where the wall curves dramatically along a mountain crest. Below, forests ripple in dark green waves. Above, the sky feels enormous.